University of Washington is one of the most beautiful and iconic college campuses in the entire United States. Founded in 1861, it's almost as old as Seattle itself. Today, a grand tradition continues with the 146th annual commencement. This year, once again, we'll celebrate virtually with a ceremony in front of the original columns from the very first building to welcome UW students. Good afternoon to everyone watching from all over the world. I'm Hanson Hossein from the Department of Communication at the UW. Over the next hour, we'll get you ready for today's commencement. Graduates, along with their families and friends, will be joining us from around the world for a first year at the UW, an interactive commencement. Grads will be able to check out messages and photos that classmates have posted and browse the commencement program. They'll even be able to drop in on everyone's favorite Husky, Dubs, to see how he's celebrating on this big day. Graduates had the opportunity to enter a lottery for a shot at the virtual seat created especially for today. That's the best seat in the house because they'll be in our virtual audience during the ceremony. Hi everyone, who's excited to graduate today? That cutting-edge technology is being created by a fan experience company called The Famous Group. You may not have heard of them, but you've seen their work because they've had a hand in major televised events, including esports, the NBA Finals, the NFL Draft, and more than a dozen Super Bowls.
Andrew Isaacson, Executive Vice President of The Famous Group, is perfect for the University of Washington, especially the commencement ceremony, where it is a worldwide event. There's no physical way that you could actually have every graduate be part of that ceremony. So not only are we, able to bring the students together, but we're also able to bring the faculty and their parents, friends, and family as well.
Hi, I'm Gil Colon. I'm a producer here at The Famous Group. Within the virtual seat platform, we can talk to each other. We can share reactions, virtual reactions, whether it's thanks mom, thanks dad, or tossing of a virtual cap. Some fun elements there. It's really about making sure that experience translates, and they feel like they're a part of it. They're there. They're watching it. They're participating. They're interacting. They're sharing those memories and those moments.
It's about taking a community that is bigger than just the geolocation that it's at. University of Washington spans across the globe. So we're going to have audience members logging in from Asia, South Africa, Europe. They're all going to get to be part of this ceremony.
Three members of the Famous Group's team are here on site with us today, but dozens of others are working on today's commencement ceremony remotely. Now, today's commencement ceremony marks 2 straight years with no in-person celebrations on the Husky campus. From classes to student housing to food service and recreational sports, everything has been turned upside down. One person who knows firsthand what students have gone through since the start of the pandemic is Vice President for Student Life, Denzel Sweet. Welcome, Denzel.
Thank you very much.
So you've certainly had conversations with students throughout this past year. What have you heard from them most?
I've heard a lot from students, and while students have adapted really well to the remote learning environment, what I hear most frequently is that they are eager to get back to in-person learning and being in community with each other, seeing their friends, being able to hug each other and celebrate on campus in person.
Well, that's great for them. I'm thinking about you now. What's the biggest thing you've learned that you've had to do differently this year?
Well, I don't know. The thing I've learned is probably pretty easy, and that is there's nothing we can't do when we do it together as Huskies. I saw the faculty adapt really rapidly. I saw the staff keep support services and engagement opportunities available for students. And I saw the Huskies rise to the occasion like they have done for decades over the years.
That's great. That's what I'm hearing. Everybody's rising to the occasion. So let's talk about another metaphor or cliche about the light at the end of the tunnel. What's the chances that we might be back in Husky Stadium next year, you think?
Oh, I think the chances are pretty high. A lot of that, of course, depends on the vaccination rate, but all indications are that people are getting vaccinated in high numbers and that we will be back in person next year. But for today, we are really focused on the class of 2021 and making this a ceremony that they will never forget.
We're absolutely doing it in a one-of-a-kind way. Even as we do expect to return to an in-person ceremony next year, what might be retained from what we've learned over the last year and a half that might transfer forward?
So I would say over the last year and a half, what we have learned is that there are expanded ways in which we can deliver instruction and services to students. Students love the expanded hours, for instance, that we've had available. They've loved the opportunity to communicate with people all over the world. So we will find ways in which we can keep that momentum going.
Do you see any kind of use of new technologies? Will I start eating my Pagliaccia pizza on Zoom at midnight?
Well, let's hope not. I think you will see certainly robust internet services on campus, but lots of in-person, but no, sitting together, sharing a meal, meeting together in person, those are things that are timeless and students want to have in person.
Well, Denzel Sweet, it's clear to me that you've certainly risen to the occasion. I want to thank you personally for your amazing leadership. This couldn't have been easy, but it sounds like we're coming out of it, and we're coming out of it even stronger than ever before.
Yes, indeed. Thanks to the Huskies.
All right. Well, thanks very much. And coming up, we'll show you how today's commencement ceremony will be opened by none other than Dubs himself. Also, how to host a virtual graduation and create memorable moments too. The national anthem today will surely do just that, and we'll show you how they'll make it happen. Plus, what do you do with your virtual graduation cap and gown after today? We'll show you how some can go right into the recycle bin. We're joined by our virtual audience from all across the globe today. We'll talk with many of you watching online. This is the Purple Carpet Countdown to Commencement 2021. Welcome back to the Purple Carpet as we count down to Commencement 2021. These are some of today's graduating class. I want to get a show of hands. How many of you are in the Seattle area today? And how about just Washington State generally? How many of you are coming from anywhere in the United States except for Washington State? And how about outside of the United States currently? All right. Well, I'd just love to actually have a conversation with one of you. I see somebody sitting on a couch with their family with balloons, and I think there's a yellow pillow. I just wanted to see if you could tell me where are you coming from and who are you with right now? Okay, well, apparently we're having some audio challenges, but you can see that we have incredible diversity of people joining us. So each year on our Purple Carpet program, we include a student reporter from the UW. It's an opportunity for someone planning a career in journalism or communications to get a little on-the-job training. This year, our student reporter is Alexandra Rochester from the Department of Communication. And I might add that Alex is one of my grad students from the Communication Leadership Master's program. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you, Hanson.
So how are you feeling so far about this?
It's pretty surreal, and I think we've heard enough of the word unprecedented, but this is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Well, take it away, Alex.
So, hundreds of artists, leaders, and celebrities are proud to call the University of Washington their alma mater. That's a long way since the first graduating class featured just one woman in 1876.
Graduation history runs deep. Back in 1861, the UW was known then as the Territorial University of Washington. Graduation was the goal. Recruiting students was a bigger challenge.
There were no students, really no college-level students. The first president of the university, Asa Mercer, hired a couple of Indians, got in a canoe, and canoed up and down Puget Sound from Bellingham to Olympia, visiting logging camps to get students. It's sort of symbolic of that idea of setting a star-high goal, for the graduates, I think. We had a university here in the most unlikely of circumstances, 6th month into the Civil War, but here it is.
The school struggled at first, closing 3 times. But 15 years later, with the courage and strength of founding members, the UW had its first graduate, Clara Antoinette McCarty Wilt, earning a bachelor's degree in science.
We don't know what the ratings are.
And the UW has graduated a myriad of celebrities. In 1995, Joel McHale, star of NBC's Community and the host of The Soup on the E! Network, earned a bachelor's degree in history and later a master's in acting. And let's not forget about Tom Foley, former Speaker of the House. Or what about musician Kenny G?
That's a lot of tradition packed into 145 years of commencement ceremonies. And today's graduates are looking forward to being part of it. Hanson?
Thanks, Alex. Nice job. What do we have coming up next?
Well, we're going to show you how Husky mascot Dubs is going to kick off commencement ceremony. And there might be a surprise guest right here.
Great. Well, one thing's certain. After the last hat is thrown and all the degrees are conferred, every graduate today will have the new title Alumni of the University of Washington. The UW just happens to have one of the largest alumni associations in the United States. Paul Rucker is Executive Director of the UWAA. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Hanson. Good to be with you.
Good to see you. So you must be super excited to be here today, whatever the circumstances.
Hanson, this is one of the greatest days of the year when the Husky community welcomes its newest graduates. What a special day.
And that must make you pretty excited as well to see this new crop coming in. What does it really mean to be a part of the UW alumni community, Paul?
Hanson, there's 500,000 living graduates all across the world. What's so special about this community is the difference they make in the lives all across our globe. We come out of the University of Washington, Bothell, Seattle, Tacoma, prepared to change the world. The skills, the relationships, the network. It is such an exciting community to be part of, and today marks a milestone in that invitation and opportunity.
You sometimes, Paul, talk about this idea of building bridges between current students and alumni. What does that truly mean, to build that bridge?
You know, Hanson, one of the amazing parts about our community is the way that we continue to keep graduates connected to alma mater. We have programs and services that invite and connect alums to current students, career services, and lifelong learning, recognizing that the lives of our newest graduates will be impacted by forces that are so significant. Alums that are already in the working world, already out in society, have an opportunity to contribute to that next generation and strengthen that bridge to prosperity and impact.
So you've got your newest crop of alumni about to join. What's your best singular pep talk you can give them to say, help us be part of this bridge, help us energize our current students?
Hanson, I think what I would say is make a decision to take action. Be an advocate, be a volunteer. Recognize that you're coming from one of the world's most extraordinary public universities, and the difference that you can make is equally as extraordinary. So I would say make a difference, take action, and create impact.
And I just have to ask you this final question, Paul. Having gone through everything we have endured over the last year and a half, what has been your experience and your conversations you've had with our alumni community in terms of their sense of connection to the university and their sense of service?
Hanson, I think like our students, our alums are tremendously resilient. These last 2 years have been incredible. We know that. Alex talked about the word unprecedented. I think the resilience, the character, and the perseverance of the UW community. We're going to be back strong in the fall, and it's going to be an exciting future.
Well, Paul Rucker, it's such a delight to see you, even remotely. I can't wait to see you on person in campus at some point in the near future. Take care. Thanks for this.
Thanks, Hanson.
Well, ahead on the purple carpet, the senior class makes a special presentation to UW President Ana Maricose. Plus, she's from Woodinville and he's from Shoreline. What do these extraordinary grads have in common? We'll find out. Also, on top of classes, tests, and grades, these UW students also play sports at the highest level. We'll meet some talented athletes who win on the field and in the classroom. Okay, everyone, time to wave around the world as we roll on with the purple carpet on Commencement Day 2021. Today's commencement ceremony is available all over the world. We're being seen in more than 33 countries, and we're being translated into more than 9 different languages. Let's check in with some of our international graduates. Hi, everyone. Well, I'm going to do a little of a continental roll call right now. How many of you are coming to us from North America? Just a show of hands, North America, the 3 countries of North America. Okay, I see one, a few there. South America. Europe. Latin European, Asia. I mean, Asia's a big place. And Australia. Wow, we've got a lot of Australians. All right, well, I'd like to call on a few of you just to see how you're doing. I see somebody who's got some yellow and purple balloons with a nice window behind you. I don't know if you can see me waving at you. Yeah, you're just turning your audio on. I'm just asking you if you can tell me your name and what will you remember most about this academic year? Okay, so no audio? Okay. All right. Sorry, it seems like we're still having some challenges with our audio, but it's so great to see all of you. With graduates watching from every continent except Antarctica, UW leaders have worked hard to convey that we're part of the same UW community. Alex, you've got a preview of something else that will help bring us all together.
Thanks, Hanson. You'll see that sense of community throughout the commencement ceremony today, starting off with the opening scene featuring everybody's favorite Husky, Dubs. Want to take a sneak peek? Take a look.
Good job. Sit. Good.
Now maybe a little bit of that head side to side action.
Audio thing's not working at all.
That type of good.
We would not be able to make this piece we're making probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago. You know, it could only be done nowadays. I mean, it's kind of an unprecedented, amazing situation.
Graduation is a big deal. So we came up with a concept that will show connection and unity, even though all these people are spread out all over the world. So we knew that we had access to Dubs and we could film him.
Dubs touch. Good.
Yeah, a little shout out to Dubs' lead trainer, Annalise. It was a really fun process. Once we had boarded it out and we kind of had a basic idea of what some of those actions are going to be, we sort of knew what we were kind of going for. Try some of the actions and see what happens, Darren. We'll just watch.
Dubs here. Dubs come. Come. Yes. Take a bow. Take a bow. Yeah.
Then we worked with Annalise and we had these sort of Zoom training sessions where, just like this on Zoom, we'll watch Annalise kind of try some of the different things out with Dubs. Amazing. And so we would kind of work out which kind of motions Dubs actually can do.
Look.
And then sort of adjust our storytelling based on what we learned from that.
Dubs, come. Good job. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
And then we did a shoot. At the end of the day, it will just bring a smile to everyone's face.
Stop.
And then we have, yes, CGI animation. So our CG animators bring it to life in a 3D space. And we see how the entire community is still connected, even though everyone's spread throughout the globe. We really want that feeling of unity and connectivity with the community to come through. That a community is bigger than just the physical plant that everybody's in. And Dubs is amazing and can do probably better trains than any dog down here in Hollywood that we've ever worked with. I'll just say that.
That's Dubs high-fiving UW videographer Michael Welty, who's behind the camera today. But here on set, we have the star himself with his student handler, Craig Schuler. Craig, Craig, what does it take to get Dubs ready for a day like today?
So really, he does most of the work himself. As soon as he gets his bandana on and he's on campus, he knows that it's working time. What we really have to do is just give him a good brush and give him some treats.
And what does he enjoy about a day like today?
He loves being around everyone. He loves being around the purple and gold. He loves getting active and barking. Huh. Do you say go dogs? Dubs, go dogs. Go dogs. Good boy.
So how many treats does he get a day?
Oh, a lot. When he's working, we pay him in treats. You know, we expect to get paid in money. He gets treats. So
seems like a fair deal.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing him in the opening scene. Hanson, back to you.
Thank you, Alex, and thanks for joining us, Dubs. One of the most prestigious honors any UW student can receive is to be named one of only 2 President's Medalists. It's an award first given in 1932. This year's honorees are both from the Puget Sound area. I'm excited to meet both students, Elizabeth and Yuki Lee from Woodinville and Isaac Mazungia from Shoreline. Welcome and congratulations. Elizabeth, I'll start with you. You are this year's Community College Transfer Student Medalist. Tell us where you went and what brought you to the University of Washington.
Yes, thank you for being here. I went to Everett Community College specifically the Ocean Research College Academy. And that's how I got connected to the University of Washington more.
That's great. I hear you're majoring in environmental studies, but you may want to be a lawyer, and that's how I started out as a lawyer, so I commend you for that. But what's encouraging you to consider that pathway?
Yes, I was interested in being a lawyer for a very long time, and I was accepted to the University of Washington School of Law, and I am really excited to attend, and it's a privilege to continue with the University of Washington.
Well, congratulations on that. It's clear that you've made a career plan from very early on in life. Given everything you've said so far, how much do you believe you're still on track with that career plan?
I think I'm still on track. My family, mentors, and experiences at the University of Washington have been incredible and have really prepared me for what is coming next.
That's great. Well, thanks for that. Now, Isak has been at the UW for all 4 years. Isak, you went to Shoreline High School. What is your major and your long-term goals? Hi, Isak, did you hear me? It's checking in to see if, are we connected? Okay, I think we're fixing our audio. Elizabeth, I'm just curious, what was the thing that most motivated you to want to pursue law school in the first place?
It was actually a conversation I had with my family. One day they mentioned that I would be really good at being a lawyer, and that's what really started it.
That's great. And when you're all done, what kind of law do you think you might want to practice, or is it too soon to say?
It's a little soon, but I'm looking into environmental, international, and admiralty law.
Wow.
Can you ask the question?
That's great. All right, I think Isak, I think you might be back with us. I just wanted to get a sense from you in terms of what's your major and your long-term goals. I don't think Isak is hearing us.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm just curious. What's your major?
I can't hear anything.
What's your major, and what are your long-term goals, Isak? Oh. Well, I understand that we might still be having some connection problems with Isak, but I believe that he is going to be heading towards Hawaii soon for research, and hopefully we'll see him back at the University of Washington at some point. So, Elizabeth and Isak, congratulations to you both. I'm sorry that we had those connection problems, but you both have clearly done your work during your time here at the University of Washington and deserve those awards.
I'm watching on my YouTube on my phone, but if you can hear me, if the question was long-term plans, environmental policy at UW, potentially. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep, I heard you, and I think that's I'm glad we got a chance to hear from you, and I think we'll move on from now.
My major is environmental science and resource management, and long-term goals is environmental policy towards more environmental justice and getting more equity.
Well, that's perfect. I think both of you are actually on the same track in a way, both in terms of protecting the environment and obviously in some marine studies as well. So thank you both for that. And for all of you watching, don't miss President Kause making the official presentation later this afternoon. Even during the pandemic, the University of Washington continues to lead in sustainability, including today's commencement ceremony. Many of the caps and gowns the grads are wearing can be recycled. So what makes the gowns green? Well, they're all made from plastic bottles collected right here at the UW. The plastic is shredded, washed, and converted into fibers. Those fibers then become material to create the commencement caps and gowns. The best news is that once graduation is over, they can be dropped into a recycling container and be recycled all over again. When we return with a purple carpet, UW President Anna-Maria Kause joins us. Plus, also, Husky student athletes are not only completing their final year of college, but many are still competing in the NCAA championships. We'll meet a few who are set to graduate this afternoon. And the UW campus is all decked out for commencement day. We're getting you ready right here on the purple carpet. Welcome back to the purple carpet. While thousands of students are getting set for their official graduation today, this commencement ceremony is not the only celebration on campus. Alex, you found out there are many different events?
That's right, Hanson. While today is the official commencement day for UW Seattle campus, many departments and colleges across campus are holding their own celebrations. It's been a whirlwind of events the past 2 weeks, with just about every celebration going online for the second year. The celebrations are as varied as the programs they celebrate. Some, including the Jackson School of International Studies, consisted of speeches in an empty studio, while production staff maintained a safe social distance. Other programs, including the College of Education, recorded their remarks outdoors and were blessed with perfect weather. And still others, including the Department of Mathematics, opted for Zoom recordings to capture their messages and celebrate graduates. There are literally dozens of events, and while most of those events have already happened, a few are still coming next week. Hanson, back to you.
Well, thanks, Alex. All those campus celebrations culminate today with the 146th annual commencement ceremony at the UW. Not even a worldwide pandemic has stopped graduation day for Husky students, both in 2020 and today. The decision to host any ceremony event has been difficult and required months of planning. And heading the planning team is UW President Anna-Maria Kause. Welcome to Commencement Day 2021, President Kause. So, did you actually think we'd be here yet again after last year?
Well, I have to say, last year we were thinking that it was a matter of weeks, maybe months. No one was thinking it would be this long, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And what's it been like this past year on campus?
You know, it has been up and down and up and down. And, one of the things is we've all learned how to ride the carousel. I am so proud of the way in which our faculty, staff, and students have risen to the occasion at UW Medicine. The research that's gone on to understand this virus, the incredible work that our doctors and nurses and staff did, our faculty who, took their courses online and came up with all kinds of creative ways to make it possible to be interactive, and of course our amazing students who, absolutely, while everything was going on all around them. They dealt with internet blips and, this, that, and the other. And it wasn't just, think about what was going on in the world and the work that we did, not just in fighting COVID, but in fighting for social justice and fighting to be a truly inclusive society. We aren't just looking to recover. We're looking for an equi-covery. We're looking to make things better, not going back to the same.
I love that, and I think there were a tagline for this graduation. It would be rise to the occasion. I think that's what you've just explained. It's also called upon us to be really strong, great leaders during a historic crisis. How hard was it for you to make the decision for us to go virtual today?
Well, all year we made difficult decisions after difficult decisions. No question. I know how much everybody wanted to be together in person, side by side, touching and high-fiving, etc. And so it was unquestionably difficult to say that this wasn't the year for it. But I know that our students are out there, they're celebrating, and I always say, let's look at the bright side. Last year, and those students made the best of it, but they couldn't be in a room with their grandparents. We didn't have vaccines out there. It was, we didn't know what, and here students are at home. I can see them, they're with their brothers and their sisters and their parents and their uncles, and they're able to celebrate in a group, and we're making progress.
So yeah, that's what I'm hearing, that if there's any words of comfort that we are virtual, that it is getting better, and we're slowly getting there. And so
there is no question, we can see it now.
Speaking of seeing, there's no crystal ball, but if you could look 1 year into the future, how optimistic are you that we can be having this ceremony at Husky Stadium next year?
I am so incredibly confident that we will be in person. There'll be some differences. Are we going to be elbow bumping or fist bumping as opposed to, we'll see. But we'll adapt but we're going to be in Husky Stadium, no question.
One of the things I liked about one of your early responses was how much we've learned and what we've endured and what we want to do differently moving forward in terms of things that we might want to retain as terms of best practices, even on campus when this is all over. What might remain the same for us after the pandemic?
Well, I think that, part of what we always deal with is what are those things that are timely and what are those things that are timeless? That magic that happens between a mentor, between a professor and a student that sparks the imagination, that doesn't change. It doesn't change whether it happens over Zoom or whether it happens in person. And that will stay the same. But again, for example, we may continue to do this for our students overseas. It's just so fabulous to see them be able to participate in a way that they hadn't before when it was Husky Stadium. So we're going to have to figure out how to make the best of what we had before and what we've learned.
And improving access and equity along the way by doing that. So I
No
really
question.
love that.
No
Well, thank you
question.
so much for your inspiration, your energy, and of course, your amazing leadership this year. It's great to see you again, President Kelsey.
Well, I draw my inspiration from our students, our faculty, and staff, and they have made it amazing.
It's been
Thank you to all of you, and go Dogs.
Absolutely. It's great. And absolutely, we should feel really great about where we are right now. But don't run off just yet, because we have a special presentation for you. It's a tradition at the University of Washington that each year the senior class presents the university with a gift. It dates back to the founding of the university and a gift of land for the very first campus. This year, the class of 2021 at UW Seattle is supporting a very timely cause. Making the presentation to President Kelsey is graduating senior Sarah Lee, who grew up in Seattle and went to high school just down the road at Franklin.
Hello, President Kelsey. It is my honor to present to you the Senior Gift Fund. It has been an annual gift of giving since the very founding of the University of Washington. And this year we have selected the UW Seattle COVID-19 Emergency Student Fund as our gift. To explain the fund, the UW Seattle COVID-19 Emergency Student Fund provides unrestricted resources to undergraduate and graduate students who are experiencing financial hardships as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The class gift helps provide the following necessities for students in need: tuition, books, and supplies, housing and living expenses, technology for virtual learning, childcare, and unanticipated medical costs. Together, over 530 class of 2021 graduates and their friends and families have contributed over $15,000 to the UW Seattle COVID-19 Emergency Student Fund. And President Kelsey, on behalf of the class, we have a token of our appreciation for you. I'll leave it to Hanson for the presentation, and I wanted to thank you on the behalf of the class of 2021.
Well, thank you, Sarah. President Kelsey, here is that gift from the class of 2021. It's a lapel pin with Dubs and class of 2021.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. I will wear it with pride.
Well, thank you, President Kelsey. And before you go, we have one more thing we'd like you to do. We understand that you and Dubs, the Husky mascot, are pretty close. So, Dubs, come on in here.
Good boy. Yes. Ooh. Dubs, who is this? Say hi. Hi. Dubs, say hi.
Hi, Dubs. Hi, Dubs. High five. Good
Boy,
boy.
yes.
Good. Dubs.
Good boy. Ooh. Come here. Dubs.
All right, go Dogs.
You can keep going.
All right. Good. All right. Good dog. Good dog. All right. All right. What do you have to say to the graduating class? What do you have to say to the graduating class?
Yes.
Congratulations. Absolutely. Come on. All right.
Yes.
Go Dogs.
Good boy.
Good boy.
All right, President Kelsey,
Thank you.
dog whisperer and leader of all stakeholders, including Dubs. Thanks very much for that. A great delight.
Thank
to see
you so
Thank
much.
you.
And congratulations, class of 2021.
Awesome. Well, coming up, we have a special graduation day message from Washington Governor Jay Inslee. Then, a virtual graduation requires a whole lot of creativity. So how did a talented music producer plan to highlight UW music students singing the national anthem? We'll go inside for a sneak peek. And all of you are about to graduate from college. What do you think of that? Stay with us for more on the Purple Carpet. I'm at the wall for this. Welcome back to the Purple Carpet. We're only minutes away from the start of Commencement 2021, which we know is being conducted virtually. How are you all doing today? Oh, it looks like we don't have our students up. Oh, here we are. Show of hands, who will be receiving their doctoral degree today? Congratulations. And master's degree recipients, show of hands, please. Near and dear to my heart, my own master's program. And bachelor's degrees. Who's on the screen here with us today? Congratulations to you all. That's great. Now, for someone who also wants to say congratulations from Olympia, here is Governor Jay Inslee.
Hello, Governor Jay Inslee here, and I would like to congratulate you all on your graduation. The last year of your education so far was likely very different than you anticipated. We know the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted every part of our lives, which makes the achievements we're celebrating today even more incredible. You are truly a historic graduating class. You've persevered, found new ways to learn, and you've adapted to a completely different learning environment. Now, thanks to the development of life-saving COVID-19 vaccines, we're approaching the light at the end of the tunnel. And as we reflect on the incredible challenges and difficulties of the last year, let's also consider the opportunities that lie ahead. Opportunities that will be maximized by getting these vaccines. We hope that you do, to protect yourselves and your loved ones. You have such a bright future. And I'm excited to see how each of you will use your education to make an impact, from tackling the local and global challenges brought on by the climate crisis, to developing new technologies, putting people to work, from addressing social and economic inequalities, to finding new treatments and cures to fight illnesses, to building businesses that can make sure that we help our communities keep moving up. And that's what we always do in Washington State. These are enormous challenges in the world today, and we will need each of you to help if we want to solve them. We know the last year has pushed us to completely reimagine our society too. You're all graduating into a world more ready for change, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. So congratulations to the class of 2021. We need you. You showed up. and now you're going to lead our state to a better future. Good luck.
Each year, hundreds of UW students participate on intercollegiate athletic teams from basketball to volleyball and 18 other sports. These students athletes truly live and breathe the spirit of college. We are joined by two UW student athletes. We have Wenya Ma, who is a Husky golfer, and Chase Deitner is fresh off NCAA championships in crew. Welcome to both of you and congratulations. So,
thank you.
Wenya, I thought I'd start with you. You're an international student from China. You played college golf and could beat most of us, but you truly excel in the classroom. How many times have you made Dean's List so far?
I believe I made Dean's List 8 times or 9 times, something like that.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Well, golf, to play at your level of golf requires a huge amount of commitment and time, but then to perform academically at that level, how were you able to balance your sport with your classwork?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I think having a very efficient time management skills is one thing I rely heavily on to balance school and golf. So I will have a list of things to do and then prioritize my time based on what's most urgent.
Well, that's impressive. So you're about to graduate. What's next for you?
Yeah, so I'm excited to go into New York and attend Columbia University, and we'll be studying epidemiology.
Did you say Columbia University for epidemiology? That's great.
Yes.
That's my alma mater as well. But from what I recall, the golf courses in Manhattan aren't as close to the university. So how do you intend to keep up your golf while you're doing your studies?
I was planning to have some putting mats in my apartment, and then I will just try to swim my clubs in my apartment, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I wish you best of luck. That sounds really great, and I hope you can continue the level of performance, both in terms of academics as well as athletics. It's really great to hear from you. Now,
Thank you so much.
Chase, you too, you're an international student from Australia, and I hear you just returned from the college rowing championships. Can you tell us perhaps how you and the Huskies did?
It's a pretty phenomenal season. We swept our IRA national championships, and we're really happy to bring it back to Washington.
Well, that's amazing, and congratulations, and thank you for doing that on behalf of the entire university. So you, Chase, you majored in electrical engineering, graduating with a 3.86 GPA, which is amazing. Can't be, just like with Wenya, it can't be easy being a college student athlete and a college student. What's your secret or advice to anybody else who wants to follow in your footsteps?
I think that Washington student athletics has actually helped my academics more than anything. The culture that it's given me and the pride that I have for the rest of the student athlete community really drives me. And I think having something special and something to work for and not just for yourself is really important.
And so this is great. And what's next for you after this is all over now?
So next year I'm going to be coming back to UW, and I'm going to get my master's in electrical engineering. And hopefully I'll work in the airspce industry later down the road.
And will you still be rowing and being on the water as much as possible?
I'm going to try to join a club next year and keep going, maybe socially, but it's been a long run. So.
Well, it's
a great way to end.
Both of your success, both as athletes and as students, is inspiring to all of us. Thank you so much for showing up for the university and showing up for yourselves. And really, congratulations upon graduating. And I look forward to seeing you both being successful in where you end up on either end of the country. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So in just a few minutes, we'll begin our commencement celebration. And here is the schedule for today. The processional with literally thousands of doctoral, master's, and bachelor's candidates begins right at 1:30 p.m. Then at 2 o'clock, the commencement program starts with the entrance of the deans and president's parties, led by the tradition of the University Marshal placing the historic UW Mace on stage. At the end, we'll turn tassels, say congratulations, and have some surprise fun too. For the final time today, we're going to toss to our student reporter, Alex Rochester, who I must say has been doing a fabulous job, Alex. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Hanson. So today's ceremony will feature performances from students from the UW School of Music. But just how can you do that with all the performers spread out over the world? For that, the UW enlisted the help of a young, talented music producer.
I'm Travis Warner, and I'm a songwriter and producer. and I'm working with the University of Washington. Some of the music students and the choir singers to put together some songs for the ceremony, and just putting together something that can get us as close as possible to being there in person, since we are not able to at the moment. I had to figure out a way where the students would be able to synchronize their singing without actually being in the room together. So what I did is I created a track that they would be able to listen to and figure out their parts. We have the sheet music that I send that has each individual part for them to sing. And from there, they're able to synchronize with the track. And then they send me a video of them singing each part. And when I put it all together and compile all the videos and the audio of them singing, I'm able to synchronize each person's video so that it sounds like they're singing together as one piece of music. So it's a lot of preparation in order for them to be able to perform their parts and have it all come together seamlessly. I personally just love getting to work with artists, and I love the collaboration of it. What I really hope to get out of this is not only an experience that the students really love and have fun being a part of, but also something that the people who would normally be there in person for the ceremony really get the impact and understand how special it is and what the ceremony means. It's something that hopefully brings the world a little bit closer together. You know, we've been apart for so long, and I'm hoping that this project and these types of projects can show people just how small the world can be, you know, and people can be intimate and people can be close to each other.
I, for one, can't wait to see it. I'm ready to graduate. Hanson, it's been a pleasure.
It actually has been a great pleasure, Alex. It's also been a great pleasure having you as a student in my graduate program, in our graduate program. I know that you looked around the world for a place to call home. What made you choose the University of Washington?
Well, when I was looking, and it really was all over the world, when I read about the Culm Lead program, it just felt like you shared the same values as me. And at the end of this program, I am so proud to be able to go out into the world and use the teachings from this program and spread that Husky spirit, quite frankly. I'm very proud to be from the UW.
Well, that's music to my ears. And what do you think's coming next for you?
It's always a surprise, as we've learned over the past 18 months.
But you intend to stay in the area, from what I
I
understand.
intend to stay in Seattle, for sure. I've fallen in love with the Pacific Northwest in a way that many of us can understand.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. And I believe that we have a little gift for you as well. Maybe I can just, why don't you come on over here and I'll give it to you, so I don't want to leave my position. But just as the president received a Husky pin, you get one too, as the class of 2021. So congratulations, and thank you for being here. Thanks for your amazing contribution to our program today.
Thank you very much, Hanson.
It's great to see you, Alex. Well, we are just moments away from the start of Commencement 2021. And I want to introduce two special guests who will join me for the first part of commencement. Joy Williamson-Lott is Dean of the Graduate School, my graduate school, and Ed Taylor is Vice Provost and Dean of the Undergraduate Academic Affairs. You'll be providing some insight as we watch the virtual procession in just a few minutes. But first, let's have each of you give some perspective as we launch the second year with a virtual commencement. Joy, how do you feel about where we've ended up after all this time and this historic crisis that we've all been going through?
Well, it's been hard for everybody. Our students have struggled but been incredibly resilient. I have to say, being here today, I'm glad to be able to be on campus. I missed the students desperately. But as I was walking here, there are students on campus and their families, and they're happy. And it was, just to see so many people so happy was so gratifying. And so it's nice to be able to be here in this time because of the last 18 months. That we've been through, and I'm hoping that everybody who's participating understands how important this moment is, that they should savor this happiness and all of the work that they've done. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm so glad to see these students around campus.
That's a very powerful observation, Joy, because I've been coming to campus for the last few weeks, and I've been seeing these students dressing up, coming with photographers, taking pictures in front of the big W or at Red Square. I mean, despite everything, what do you think is driving them to feel that physical, tangible attachment to a campus that they they haven't been on for months.
You know, I think that the University of Washington is bigger than its physical place. And so they're Huskies no matter where they are. Most of them were at home, studying from home or at other places, but they're still Huskies. And so now that things have opened up a bit and they have the opportunity to come to campus, and that campus is outfitted to receive them so that they can celebrate and memorialize their time, I think that's what draws them back, that this is their alma mater, undergrad, grad. This is their alma mater. And so to be able to come back to the place is important, even though no matter where they've been Huskies.
Speaking of undergrad ed, obviously I'm the co-founder and I've led a graduate program. Joy is a dean of graduate school. Your undergrad, how different is the connection between undergrads to the campus and their desire to be here compared to, say, a graduate student because of the nature of their studies and the nature of their social connections?
It's a little different in the sense, Hanson, that many students connect to the day-to-day life of undergraduates, connect to the day-to-day life of campus. Many of them live on campus. Their classes are here on campus, and so they depend on each other in relationship to each other and to their professors in classrooms. So that dynamic of being on campus and in classrooms and with each other day to day is something that undergraduate students thrive on. A little different for graduate students who sometimes come back and forth to home and may live away from campus, but for undergraduates, that sense of place really, really does matter to them.
And it's not just a dynamic, it sounds like, because these people are leaving home for the first time often, right? And so in a way, it's a support network. And so from what you've heard, how have these undergraduate students survived and hopefully even thrived given everything? How have they been able to support each other or even do without that support?
I love that question, Hanson. I want to make two observations here. One is, if you're asking me how I feel about this moment, one is a sense of deep gratitude for the colleagueship, the number of people that came together on this campus, all three of our campuses, to keep our community safe. And that was pretty remarkable. But in terms of our students, the ways in which they connected, we asked them back in March 2020. And Joy and I were sitting together, our leadership team were sitting together, when we had to make the decision based on science that we needed to move to a virtual campus. We were the first in the country to do so. And one of the things we had to sit and wrestle with was, what does it mean to say to our students that you have to leave and you have to connect in different ways? Joy and I actually sat with our students and we actually created something called a Husky Pack. And it was driven by our students who said that for this to work and for us to stay safe, we have to create a pack. And Joy, help me, it's personal responsibility, accountability, choice, and kindness. And we ask thousands of students to be kind to each other.
I'm glad you shared that with us as we move right now into the commencement ceremony. Thank you for that, Ed. That's a great reflection. And thank you to all of our graduates, and thank you for joining us today on our purple carpet. The 2021 University of Washington commencement ceremony begins just 15 seconds from now, and Ed and Joy will be joining me for the play-by-play. So thanks for joining us. We did it.
Graduates and guests, welcome to the University of Washington's 146th commencement ceremony, honoring the graduating class of 2021. Now entering are candidates for the various doctoral and professional degrees. Carrying the gonfalons for the graduate school are Jeff Bachman and Lupita Santillan. Jeff is receiving a Doctor of Philosophy in Rehabilitation Science. Lupita is receiving a Doctor of Philosophy in Education, School Psychology. Carrying the gonfalon for the School of Pharmacy is Lindsay Maritza Henderson. Lindsay is receiving a Doctor of Philosophy, Pharmaceutics. Carrying the gonfalon for the School of Dentistry is Jamar Vincent Goveo. Jamar is graduating today with a Doctor of Dental Surgery.
Graduates, students graduating right now. It's quite impressive, isn't it?
It is incredibly impressive. These are our professional and doctoral degree candidates. That means that these people have spent 5, 6, 7 years in their programs. They are incredibly resilient. Look at these happy faces.
And I love that they showed up in regalia as well.
They did, and the different colors of the TAMs they're wearing, or not the TAMs, but the hoods that they're wearing signify where the unit where they got their degrees, and so it's actually telling it wasn't a fashion choice. It's actually part of their regalia, and that distinguishes whether they got a DDS, which is the PharmD, these are doctoral degrees, as well as the PhD in different departments. So these people are going to go off, they're going to be doing research, they're going to join faculties, they're going to be entrepreneurs. These have been some hard-working folks who have had to change their methodologies and deal with a pandemic that was incredibly disruptive for their research programs. But look at this amazing group.
It's amazing because you're almost witnessing the next generation who's going to help us get through all of this. Oh, and yeah, so I feel like this is the inspiration. These are the next set of leaders that we need.
Candidates for the various master's degrees are now entering. Carrying the gonfalons for the graduate school are Kudi Yen and Maya Escovedo. Kudi is receiving a Master of Science in Electrical Engineering. Maya is graduating with a Master of Social Work, Administrative and Policy Practice.
What's interesting to me is that this is such a traditional ceremony. We're wearing middle-aged garb from the time of Europe, and yet these incredible colors, not just in terms of the wardrobe, but the people who are represented, the diversity. We've come a long way.
We have come a long way. We have ways to go, but we have come a long way. And again, I just look at all of these faces, and I am just blown away. I'm so eager to see what they're going to be able to do, what they're going to be doing with their degrees. They're going in so many different directions. We heard from our 2 student athletes, they're going to graduate school too. And one of them here at the UW.
Yeah, I'm glad we're
So we'll see him in a couple of years, hopefully in person.
And I hope he continues growing as well. Given that this is such, everything's changing, and everybody keeps talking about the next normal. Do you think we'll retain some of these traditions despite all the things that will come next?
I hope so. One of the things that's happened, it's again an incredibly difficult time, but one of the silver lining pieces is that families have been able to participate in defenses for students who spent years preparing for their graduate degrees, and they couldn't be here before. They would have required a flight from across the world, from the East Coast, and so all these people were able to Zoom in and participate, and I think that's been amazing.
Yeah, I love that access and equity that we've learned from this as well.
Definitely.
So that's been a benefit. So yeah,
Definitely.
I love that we've got this level of participation. Thanks for that, Joy.
Carrying the gonfalon for the School of Law is Jeef Chandra. Jeef is receiving a Juris Doctor.
And I might as well bring you into this conversation. We've been looking at mostly, obviously, from people from the graduate school, but what's interesting is that a lot of these people have actually come through the pipeline of undergraduate at the University of Washington. Many people were wondering that higher education was going to be in for a reckoning through the pandemic, and whether higher ed was going to be, the value proposition will be there when it's all over. What level of demand are you seeing for undergraduate education at the University of Washington moving forward?
When I hear that question, Hanson, I ask friends and colleagues and people in the community to just simply ask the students. The students are marching with their feet. They're marching with their pens. They keep coming back to the university as we know it. And look at this graduating class. They've decided that this place and the physical place still matters. So as much as we want to think about the capacity we have to do this work virtually, we keep hearing over and over and over again that students, they're willing to do this if they need to. They're willing to do it as a sense of sacrifice, but they want to be together. And so I think students are telling us very clearly that community matters.
Well, that's really interesting because, yeah, we want to be together, but we've also seen another way of doing it as well. So, to either of you, what do you think might be different moving forward? Might we have more remote? Will there be less foreign students, more foreign students? What be different in a year or two from now?
Oh, I hope there are not less international students at undergrad or grad. They add so much to the university, and they have been so isolated. I know that there's a group in China that is having watch parties and graduation parties.
For the Evans School of Public Policy and Governance is Norma Patricia Sanchez Ortiz. She is receiving a Master of Public Administration, International Development.
Well, now we're at the Evans School, and in many ways, what we need most is a different kind of leadership. You know, I think what we've seen with the pandemic in countries around the world is that the countries that had the best sense of governance and leadership maybe did better than others that were just floundering around. And so, from a leadership point of view, what is unique about the University of Washington that we bring to challenges such as this and moving forward?
Well, I think if this last year or 2 years has taught us anything, that being a public research university matters to our community. And it's not just abstract, that when you think about it, and think about the different majors that we just heard about today and the different disciplines and their relevance right now: law, public policy, the arts, the humanities, medicine. You go through all, and it used to be, years back, people would ask the question, well, what are you going to do with a degree like this? Now, imagine reframing this and saying, think about the value of a degree now in sociology, in the arts, in law, in medicine, in public policy, in public health. All of these things and everything that these students are going to do matters now. And it matters in real pragmatic ways now. And that's the value of being at a public research university now, that transition into and translation into how to make meaning of public service and public good.
Yeah, I agree. That's I think what struck me most is that I hosted this public lecture series for the grad school this year on coexisting COVID-19. What I loved about it is that we were serving our community. I mean, I think that's what a public research university does best. We rise to the occasion and we try to relieve the anxiety by bringing trusted research and information to our community. You must have felt very proud as the leader of the graduate school to be able to bring that research like that.
So very proud.
Gentlemen, candidates for bachelor's degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences, including Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Design, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and Bachelor of Music, are now entering. Carrying the first of 6 gonfalons for the College of Arts and Sciences is Gargi Kher, who is receiving a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry and Applied Mathematics.
Well, and here come the undergrads. How many commencement ceremonies have you attended during your time at the University of Washington?
Hanson, I'm going to age myself here. I've been to 27. I started coming to commencements when I graduated as a doctoral student, and was the first in the family, and I felt like it was so special to put on a cap and gown. It just felt so special. I told myself every opportunity I have, I'm going to keep coming. So I've come to every one, and I'm sitting here in Sylvan Grove at this one, and it's a virtual graduation, but I'm still coming. I think we're important.
Yeah, and despite the fact that it is virtual, we are here at Sylvan Grove, and I think there's a certain level of gravitas and a sense of the moment by being here and by sharing this moment with everybody else around the world, because those pillars are a marker for where the first graduations used to happen for the University of Washington.
Think about the values: loyalty, industry, faith, and efficiency of those pillars. I'm sitting next to Joy. You're a historian, and I want our students, all of them, undergraduate and graduate, to know that by virtue of the fact that you're sitting at your homes, you're sitting in your kitchens, you're sitting in your living rooms, maybe even sitting in your car. I saw some students, viewing from their car, wherever they are, that you're making history, and history will look back and realize this is your contribution to this moment, that you're making sacrifices that will serve the next generation of students, and we're grateful for that.
Joy, you are a historian, and obviously it's always dangerous to reflect upon how history will look at this moment, but this has been a reckoning as well historically. What have you thought about it? Have you even put your mind to what will history say about us?
I cannot wait to see what history says about this moment. I'm actually really curious to find out how they're going to teach about it in K through 12 also, but how it will change the way higher education looks. Not all of it. There is deep value to being in person. For all the reasons that Ed has talked about and many, many others. But I do think it has taught us that we can learn and be in community in new and different ways. So I think it's democratized higher education in a way, and that more students can participate from across the globe. Again, there's power in being here, and we want them here. But I do think we are going to think in new and different ways about how to deliver it and experience it.
Carrying the second gonfalon for the College of Arts and Sciences is Anna Lee, who is receiving a Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience and a Bachelor of Arts in Dance.
So my two kids are too young to be quite ready for the University of Washington. One's 10, one's 13, but my younger son loves reading the I Survived series for kids, which are sort of reflections of history, and he reads about World War I, World War II, the Donner Party of all things. And I said, in the middle of this, I said, one day there will be a book for your kids, I Survived the Global Pandemic of 2020. I mean, if you think about young people having to go through this, the resilience, what will they bring? What do you think our constituents, our stakeholders, our students will take away with them?
I think that, if you didn't know you were resilient before, you know it now. I don't think any of us knew that we would be tested like this and be able to come through the other side. And I also have young kids. They are so much more independent and confident than they probably would have been, right? Because they had to start to figure things out on their own. And I think, look, with these undergrads and again with the grads, nobody knew this was going to happen. But I will put a plug in for history. All of you watching, write down your memories of this time right now. They're going to blur later. They're going to blur and be corrupted later. Write them down now. Make yourself a little, what are those things that you bury them?
Time capsule.
A time capsule. Make yourself a time capsule. You are living through a unique and historical time. People will be asking you about this, and people will be writing about this. You lived it. Claim it. Write down your memories now. Put it in a time capsule. This is exactly what I've been doing with my family, because we forget how hard it was in the beginning of the pandemic. When we were wiping down our groceries. Things have changed. So remember that's another way to remember this time, what it was like to be a student, because I guarantee you there are going to be some historians of education coming back to look through your memories, and you'll end up in a book.
Well, that's brilliant, because I remember, if you think about talking to grandparents or great-grandparents about the Great Depression or World War II or whatever, and it's like, wow, that must have been so incredible, because our lives are so normal with respect to that. But now we are those people, and so when we're older, people are going to ask us, what was it like to go through the pandemic?
Exactly.
So that's a great reflection. I appreciate that, Joy. And so write it down, everyone, or put it in your tablet, or put it in the cloud. Just make sure it endures.
Candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences continue to enter, led by Gonfalonier Madison McCann, who is receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Scandinavian Area Studies and Math.
That word gonfalonier, and I haven't really heard it that often. Did either of you know the origins of that and how people get chosen for that role?
So many of these traditions go back at our university back to 1861, the commencement exercises, the very beginning of our university. But the tradition of the regalia and the actual commencement ceremony goes back to the 15th century, back to Oxford. And our students should feel glad, because back with the first graduates, the first group that commenced from Oxford, they actually had to do sermons for graduation. They had to do them in Latin. So we should probably put that back in place so that for the class of 22,
how's your Latin?
for the second, I'll tell you afterwards.
In Latin.
So many of the traditions, and part of the reason we do this is I'm looking at all these students from the College of Arts and Sciences. They're wearing their cap and gown. They have their tassels to the right. These are traditions that go back in time that help us remember that this is a three-dimensional activity. It is connected to the past, and forever connects us to the past and traditions of the past, and it connects us to the present and helps us to envision a future. And so it just, the pomp and circumstances as we're listening to this music, it matters, and it means for our students to connect historically. And that notion of connect, again, it doesn't elevate us, it connects us as we turn these tassels.
And yeah, it gives us, that sense of community that comes from that common story, right? Then that sense of bond. One thing we are missing is that if you were to have this in person, there is the turning of the tassels, right? And so what does that meant to symbolize when you do switch the tassels from one side of the mortarboard to the other?
Traditionally, what they think I think what they meant was that we now become educators, because those who were graduating back then were then to go on to become teachers. What I think they symbolize now, I'm saying what I think, this is my opinion. When we turn these tassels, it means that we have a responsibility to use these degrees to do good in the world, and to do good for ourselves, to care for ourselves, to care for our communities, even if it means being good neighbors. Again, the turning of the tassel means not elevation, but connection, and connection to doing good in the world.
Absolutely. That community drive for our constituents as they go out there into the world. So, well said, Ed.
Carrying the fourth gonfalon for the College of Arts and Sciences is Cameron Molinex, who is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in History.
Joy, Ed was just talking about that sense of responsibility and commitment that graduates generally are meant to take forward with them, even in non-historic times. How different do you think this particular cohort of graduates will feel in terms of their sense of service? Obviously we all want to make a good living, and some of us try to pursue that in the jobs we look for, but we've all had to really pull up together, even if we've been separate in this time. What might be different about this generation 5 or 10 years from now, having gone through this?
I think they've already shown us. I know that many of our students in nursing and pharmacy and dentistry have been out in the community giving vaccines. We have graduate students working on the research that help develop those vaccines and other kinds of things that will help us in the biomedical community. And they bring a sense of purpose, because we've all been struggling. And so not just in the health professions, but you'll see this also in social work. You'll see this also in education, undergrad and grad. Again, they have risen to the occasion as students. And I'm sure they're going to take that same sense of personal responsibility and communal responsibility with them. This is, I think, the power, as what Ed was saying, of being at a public institution. This is our job. We don't just exist as some ivory tower separate from our community. We're here to help society in a variety of ways. And like I said, they have demonstrated it through cultural production, through research, and in a variety of other ways. And I'm sure that 10 years from now, they will be these people still, which gives me great hope for the future.
I can see that. Ed Joyce talking about that sense of commitment and service, and you've talked about it as well, but the university is a public research university. It always has had that. Is there something we need to do to actually sort of underline it now? Do we need to renew our vows in terms of who we are as the University of Washington?
I love that idea of renewing our vows, and that's exactly what we got to do. And I think our students will be good ambassadors for both what it means to engage in work that has meaning.
The fifth gonfalon for the College of Arts and Sciences is Micah Enrique Lusignan Santiago, who's graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in English and Creative Writing.
Well, I was joking with President Kelsey earlier on the purple carpet that the tagline for this graduation should be "Rise to the Occasion." I don't know whether we, be boundless is our current tagline. I'll talk to Mary Gresham, our current head of marketing, and say, is it time to rethink, because, we are certainly boundless in our thinking, but my goodness, the energy and expertise and leadership this university brought to this pandemic, not just in our region, but around the world, has been incredible, from IHME to all the medical practitioners, but just thinking about what we need to do differently around this has been amazing to me.
Yeah, it has been amazing. I think it's a perfect example of the power of the research enterprise, why research universities make such a difference, and in the public good. This is really about the public good.
Yeah. No, during the COVID series, I was always pleased to see University of Washington being quoted by television stations, by the White House, but even in the UK, we clearly had that credibility and that resonance, and it made me proud. But I also knew what had to go into that level of leadership. During the pandemic, we opened the Hans Rosling Center, the Population Health Center. Right, this is the stuff that endures and continues despite everything. I think that's just so amazing.
What was amazing about all of that is the way that we talked about things that mattered. Our colleague Hillary Godwin, who's the Dean of Public Health, I was on phone lines with Hillary while she was talking to K-12 education and talking to teachers about how to get kids back into school. Those are cross-disciplinary kinds of conversations that are so valuable now.
I think that is the power, one unique power of the University of Washington, this drive for interdisciplinarity. Complex questions demand complex answers, and you can't do it in silos. And so we have to have public health talking to education, talking to nursing, talking to social work, and I could go on down the line of all the colleges and schools. It's necessary, and I think that is an amazing hallmark of the university.
It's also the antithesis to perhaps the one-liners we get in social media that's meant to condense and simplify everything to one thing, like it's the Hail Mary kind of pass, when you have to have all of these different people coming together to come up with the solutions, like we've seen with the vaccines, for example. So yeah, I think we have to make sure that the world is getting more complex and it requires that level of collaboration, that level of interdisciplinarity that we see especially at this university, and that has done us proud for this moment. So it's been great to rise to the occasion.
Carrying the final gonfalon for the College of Arts and Sciences is MJ Stroming, who's graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology.
And I'm curious, we're still watching undergrads here. Have you heard directly from our undergrad students during this year? Have they reached out to you and asked you for counsel or support, or to just even let you know what they're working on and what they're doing and what's different about this time? Joy and I have the pleasure of working with staff that are just so talented, that are engaged with students day to day. And I'll be honest about this, and so that many of our students have reached out because this has really been a hard year for them. And I think students have been really honest about two things. We're going to do the work, and we're going to do the work virtually. But this has been a really challenging time in all of our personal lives. So students have reached out and been clear about that. But they've also been clear about how they need to connect with each other, keep each other healthy, and really be the kind of community that rises to the challenge. So we were engaged with each other a lot during the course of the year, undergraduate and graduate students, about how to keep each other safe and how to keep each other well. We were in constant conversation with our students about how to move forward and for the next generation of students, so they could actually be together and be on campus together, and that's our hope. Yeah. Joy, graduate school, obviously there's so many people who are actually involved in firsthand research. And while we do expect everyone to be on campus again, there may be changes to how we can research, right? The expectations may be that not everything has to be done in the field. There are new ways to get the information that people need. Do you think that we'll see some innovation in how research itself is done out of this?
I think so. I hope so. I actually think interdisciplinarity is going to be one of the ways that we go in that regard. And I think trying to think about how to create robust student experiences. So part of it is like students might be choosing different topics, but part of it is about what the university needs to think about in terms of, all right, so how do we want to prepare the next generation of master's students or people who have master's degrees, people who have doctoral degrees and other kinds of capstone degrees, that we need to think through what are the kinds of experiences we want from them. Should we change the curriculum? Should we change the way we teach? Should we change the kinds of experiences that are required? And I think it's broken open a space for us to think in very creative ways about the future.
I'm looking forward to that creativity that just leads to new kinds of innovation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Please welcome bachelor's candidates from the College of Education, led by Gonfalonier Aditi Rajendran. Aditi is receiving a Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Education Leadership, and Policy Studies.
Well, the College of Education, I mean, this is super meta, but education itself is going to change. I mean, Joy, you and I have young kids who have had virtual school, had to go back to school in very strange and stressful circumstances, and new practices are being deployed, and I think I'm on the board of my kids' school, so I get a sense of where leadership is going with this. How much will education change? Not at the university, but education generally.
You know, I want to point out that Ed is a graduate of this College of Education.
Oh boy, I asked the wrong person.
Yes.
Sorry, Ed.
I also have a degree in but from a different institution, so I will allow Ed, since this is his home unit.
In a second, Ed, we'll come back to you for that, okay? 2 seconds.
Entering now are bachelor's candidates from the College of Engineering, led by Gonfaloniers Alejandro Diaz and Parker Ruth. Alejandro is receiving a Bachelor of Science in Bioengineering. Parker is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Bioengineering and a Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering.
Well, I've been watching the engineers come through now, but I want to just follow up on that education question, given your expertise.
Well, one of the things we've learned in this last year is that students, whether they're in kindergarten or whether they're in high school, they're going to connect around the world, so their education is going to matter not just locally, but it's going to matter around the world. And we also know that something that was exposed during the pandemic, education equity and inequity is going to matter. So we've got to have educators now, and think about the importance now of just what it means to be a teacher and what it means to be an educator at this moment. It means really thinking about systems change, thinking about equity, and thinking about justice, and thinking about access, and how that's tied to the well-being of our democracy. It's never been more important than in this time, and it's always been important too. It's been the engine of our democracy. Joy and I both teach about philosophy of education and history of education, and those disciplines and actually those areas of study are essential now, and they've always been essential. But that's one of the things that we're going to be actually thinking about in this coming years. What damage was done this last year, and how do we need to bridge some gaps that have been created during the course of this pandemic, and the lack of access for so many kids. So educators in this next generation who are walking into schools now have serious and important work to do. They're frontline workers right now. So I think one of the things we need to do is really recognize the value of what it means to be educators, principals, teachers in classrooms. That's the work of justice right now.
It's a good point. I think we're actually, I think all of a sudden people are recognizing the value of education. Even I'm seeing more applications to our graduate program. I'm hearing the moment is sort of said, oh, we got to retool for this, Joy. Are you seeing the same thing? There's all of a sudden this resurgence in that interest in education?
I am. I think people were questioning whether applications would go down at graduate school. They have not gone down. They've actually gone up. And actually we have more diversity of demographic diversity in our applicant pool at the graduate level. So I do think people see it as a calling, people see it as a value, not just for personal gain, but to, like I said, for the public good.
This is where I make a fool of myself as an amateur historian, but the horror of World War II, World War I, World II, the Depression, led to some good things. The United Nations, thinking more about human rights. The reckoning of the pandemic, as intense and short it has led to things that Ed was talking about. Do you feel that some good can come out of this?
I hope so. Like I said, I see these faces and I see a lot of good in them, and I think the openness for opportunity and new thinking will pay off.
Please welcome the candidates from the College of the Environment. Carrying the gonfalon is Isak Mazengia. Isak is receiving a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science and Terrestrial Resource Management.
Well, it's good to see Isak again. I had him on the purple carpet. We had some audio challenges, but what a remarkable graduate, and obviously demonstrative of the people who are graduating from our university today and the leadership they'll take, especially around the environment. I think that's the other thing that we've learned from the pandemic. We saw CO2 levels go down for a brief shining moment because we weren't flying and driving everywhere, but I think there's now, at the highest levels, a real understanding that things have to be done differently in terms of sustainability and the environment.
And if I can give a shout out, after a moment.
Bachelor candidates from the Information School are now entering. The Information School Gonfalon is carried by Gonfaloniers Kiran Pradhan and Ekoli Vandala. Kiran is receiving a Bachelor of Science in Informatics, Data Science. Ekoli is receiving a Bachelor of Science in Informatics and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology.
What were you saying, Ed?
Two groups have passed through arts and sciences. Dean Bob Stacey is retiring after this year, and Bob's been a distinguished scholar and distinguished dean at this university, and so congratulations to Bob. He's been an incredible leader on this campus. And College of the Environment, our colleague Lisa Gromlich, who founded that college, which is an incredible college and a dynamic college. These students are going to go out and do amazing things, but we just want to give recognition to Lisa Gromlich for being an incredible leader in this community.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, and especially from this part of the world where we take it so seriously, the environment and our connection to the
Candidates from
environment.
the Michael G. Foster School of Business are now entering, led by Gonfalonier Whaley Lin. Whaley is receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, Finance and Information Systems.
Well, Foster School of Business, that's a very good example. I think before the pandemic, we were seeing, well, a lot of people were questioning whether the MBA was going to survive and was an outdated degree, and I hear that applications to MBAs across the country are up like crazy, so people obviously are still seeing the value to that joint.
Yeah, there's so much to do. There's so many opportunities with an MBA and other master's degrees, and these students are going to do all kinds of different things with it. I think people have a very kind of a tunnel vision about what that degree will allow you to do, but we're going to see from all of these students the variety of things that you can do with an MBA all over the place, all over the world.
And before the Foster School, we saw the Information School, and one of the more service-oriented things that came out of the iSchool this year, the Center for the Informed Public, and that's something I had some collaboration with that center, and they just did incredible work, especially during the time of the election, just to bring down the temperature around the level of misinformation and disinformation, and had first-hand access to Google and Facebook and other companies to tell them when things were going wrong on their platforms. So that's true leadership, and that's the University of Washington yet again being there.
Our colleague Kate Starbird, it seemed like she was on the radio every week, and just marking that distinction that you just said, Henson, misinformation and disinformation and what constitutes the truth. And there again is that public scholarship of researchers talking to the general public. What constitutes the truth?
And I got to tell you, I know Kate Starbird was essential but dangerous too. I know the level of threats that she gets, and so it's amazing that these people continue to be on the front lines because they know that information and that work matters and that truth matters as well. So you're right about all those people doing that amazing stuff, and I think it's made a difference because they've also said the pandemic wasn't just a health pandemic, it was an information pandemic, right? And when these things happen, there's a lot of anxiety and people just don't know who to trust, and so they're looking for different sources and sometimes alternative sources. And that's where I felt like the University of Washington did rise to the occasion, because we put ourselves out there as a trusted source for everything from health to politics to economics to all the changes that we were facing, and then we brought that to the table. And I think that's just couldn't be more timely.
I think it's also a perfect example of how one unit can have a huge impact, that we don't seek to just be in our silos, that it was about misinformation everywhere. That's good for all of us to learn more about how to discern good from bad, good information from bad information.
Absolutely, and that's what universities do well, if they do it well.
Bachelor candidates from the School of Nursing and the School of Medicine are now entering. The School of Nursing is led by Gonfalonier Liam Malpass, who is receiving a Doctor of Nursing Practice, Family Nurse Practitioner. Carrying the Gonfalon for the School of Medicine is Kai Broughton, who is receiving a Bachelor of Science in Medical Laboratory Science. Welcome now the Bachelor candidates from the College of Built Environments. They are led by Gonfalonier Kai Farmer, who is receiving a Master of Landscape Architecture. final groups of bachelor candidates entering are from the School of Public Health and the School of Social Work. Carrying the gonfalon for the School of Public Health is Shraddha Malla, who is receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Public Health, Global Health. The School of Social Work candidates are led by gonfalonier Evelyn Faye Tagana Romano, who is receiving a Master of Public Health, Global Health, General Track, and a Master of Social Work, Clinical Social Work.
Well, if these people aren't heroes now, they're probably going to be future heroes given what we've learned from the last year and a half in terms of both public health, mental health, and what we need to do out there on the front lines, on our streets and the homes and everything else. Social work and public health matter.
They do, and they're interconnected. I'm glad to see them positioned this way. They are deeply interconnected. Like, again, it's the power of interdisciplinarity. These students have already been tried and tested. They're ready for whatever their future holds, whether it's graduate school or work in a clinic or a hospital and other kinds of public health spaces. They're ready.
You think about what we've learned this last year. If someone would have told me 3 years ago that I'd be wearing a mask, I wouldn't believe them. But just think about the kind of information we have now, why we should wear a mask. What does it mean to flatten the curve? What does it mean to pay attention to health metrics? All of those things that we've learned are research to practice. And these students are going into fields that are going to make the world better, that cut across disciplines. Global health talking to medicine, medicine talking to arts and humanities, all of this, and education and teachers talking to scientists, all of this transdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, and making our world better.
Yeah. It's and I'm just looking, it's dangerous obviously to look at these faces, these names, and reach any conclusions, but on the face of it, there's such incredible diversity. It's wonderful to see this at this time. It's like we need all these people from their different walks of life, from their different identities, from the communities they represent to be doing this. So,
Hanson, I think that word, we need these students now. We need this generation, this graduating class like we've never needed a class before, and I think that's what makes this 2021 class so special. So whether you're sitting in your rooms, in your bedrooms, in your kitchen, just again, going back to Joy's point, just keep in mind that you're making history by virtue of seeing yourself on the screen right now.
Joy, you mentioned time capsule. What would be very interesting to see if we could actually track these people 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and see what they've done in the world after what they've experienced this year.
That would be a completely worthwhile experiment. I'm sure the Alumni Association would be incredibly happy to participate in that, because it will be fascinating to think about how this time impacted their future choices. There are all kinds of studies like this, whether, like you said, World War II, World War I, the Vietnam War. Life events, world events change trajectories. It'll be fascinating to see 5 years, like you'd said before, 10 years, 20 years down the line, how their experiences and living during this time inform who they become as humans and members of the world community.
Yeah. It won't be the class of 2021, it'll be the class of rising to the occasion.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, there have been documentaries that have been done where they do actually choose a select number of people and they just go back to them every few years and see what stories they can tell about them. So it's just really great.
Now entering are members of the Dean's Party, led by Dean's Marshal Jeshana Schmidt of the School of Public Health. Now entering are the members of the President's Party, led by University Marshal Joseph James of the Information School.
We'd like to begin this ceremony by acknowledging the land on which the university rests, the land of the Coast Salish peoples, which touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. Today, we celebrate together. The commencement exercises of the University of Washington will be opened with the presentation of the colors by the Joint ROTC Color Guard and the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner by a choir composed of students from the School of Music. Please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Please be seated. And welcome to the 146th commencement exercises of the University of Washington. My name is Joseph Janes, and I'm an associate professor in the Information School. On ceremonial occasions such as this, however, I'm honored to serve as the University Marshal and welcome you all officially to this ceremony. As you can see, we're here in the Sylvan Grove. Behind us are the 4 Ionic columns that formed the grand entrance to the first Territorial University of Washington building, which was constructed on a rise in what is now downtown Seattle in 1861. These columns resonate with the dreams and visions of the people who raised them in a village of only 300 over a century and a half ago. They symbolize the never-ending pursuit of knowledge, truth, and artistic expression, always enduring and always new. Our first graduates celebrated in front of these columns, and when the downtown building came down, only these cedar columns were saved. They were erected on what's now the Quad, and there they played a prominent role in early graduations. Ceremonies were held here in the Sylvan Grove when the columns were moved to this location in 1921. But for nearly 100 years, no class graduated in front of these original columns. Last year, that changed, and today, the class of 2021 makes its own history as quite possibly the last class to celebrate before these iconic reminders of our university's birth. To all the graduates who are joining us today from across the United States and around the world, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Commencement 2021, Celebrating Worldwide. With us today is the leadership of the University of Washington, and I'd like to introduce them at this time. First, the chair of the university's Board of Regents, Mr. Rogelio Riojas. Also joining us remotely today are the other members of the university's Board of Regents, Vice Chair Blaine Tamaki, William S. Ayer, Joe Benalil, Joanne R. Harrell, Jeremy Jake, Libby G. McPhee, Christina Pagosian, the Student Regent, Dr. Constance W. Rice, and David Zeke. Next, the President of the University of Washington, Professor Anna Marie Kause, and University Provost, Mark Richards. We are also pleased to welcome the Deans of the university's 16 schools and colleges. Thank you all for joining us today. Please be seated. President Kause will preside over today's exercises. Please join me in welcoming her to the lectern.
Thank you, Dr. Janes, and welcome, graduates, families, and friends. We're so pleased that you've joined us today from across the United States and around the world. The international reach of the University of Washington is never more apparent than at these graduation exercises. Huskies from over 30 countries are tuning in to participate in today's ceremony. We see you all. We see you in China, India, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. We see you in New Zealand and Guam, in Egypt and the United Arab Emirates. We see you in Germany, France, Poland, and the United Kingdom. We see you in Brazil and Panama and Costa Rica. And of course, we see our neighbors in Canada and Mexico and all of the graduates here in Washington State and around the United States. Welcome to all of you. And congratulations, class of 2021. We are so proud of you and all that you have accomplished throughout your time at the University of Washington. I know this past year has been difficult in ways you couldn't have predicted when you began your degree. Your incredible persistence and adaptability in achieving this milestone has shown the world what you are capable of. And we can't wait to see the impact that you'll have, because we've seen that you can rise to a challenge. You're a special class, shaped by the pandemic and graduating in one of the most dynamic and fraught periods in our history. I recognize that the pandemic, as well as other traumas that may have affected you in your time here, have been part of what shaped you. But let's take a moment to acknowledge that they never defeated you. These past years will be part of your story, but your journey is much bigger than that, and you will define the impact that you have on the world. As you look back on your years at the University of Washington, now and in the months and years to come, I hope you'll reflect on the achievements that have made you the most proud. But I also hope that you'll remember the disappointments and the setbacks too. They are also an essential part of what makes your accomplishments extra special. They are a reminder that you earned this, and they are proof that you can bounce back and that you can work your way even out of the darkest times. Those skills that you've cultivated here at the University of Washington will serve you well. Big challenges await you and all of us. Your talents and voices are essential to building a more equitable and sustainable world. Your new ideas and confidence will fuel the changes we so urgently need. Your optimism and collaborative spirit will help see you through. I, along with your teachers and mentors, are very excited to see what you'll do with your education and what doors will be unlocked by your new degree. One of the best things about being president of the University of Washington is learning about some incredibly positive change in the world and then finding out that the person responsible for it is a Husky. Each of you is a world full of potential. How will you use your knowledge, your empathy, your creativity and passion to answer the call to action? But for now, take a breath. You don't have to answer that question right now. This day is all about celebrating your graduation and all the people in your life who played a part in your success. On behalf of the University of Washington, thank you to all the moms and dads, grandparents, guardians, siblings, and children, to anyone you call family. You helped make this day possible too. All the times you packed a school lunch, helped with homework, or were there for a hug after a tough day. Families, wherever you are, and whether you've ever set foot on our campus, please know we consider you Huskies too. You've been essential to your graduates' journey, especially during the hardest days of the pandemic. Today, we celebrate everyone who made this possible. In closing, graduates, I wish we could all be together side by side and in person for this very special moment, but nothing can diminish your achievements. Your university will always remember you as a special class who persevered and demonstrated such extraordinary commitment. Thank you for all that you've invested in yourselves. The world awaits you, and the University of Washington will always be here for you. We are so proud to call you alumni and Huskies forever. Congratulations, class of 2021. Now, commencement is a memorable day, not only for our graduates, but also for our faculty who truly enjoy celebrating the accomplishments of their students. At commencement, we traditionally highlight faculty who've been recognized for their outstanding teaching. Here to do that today is the person who works most closely with the deans and faculty to shape your academic experience, our provost, Dr. Mark Richards.
Thank you, President Kelsey. Each year, the university presents what are known as the Awards of Excellence to individuals whose mentorship and service have had a profound impact on the lives of students and the broader university community. I want to take a moment to honor several of those award winners now. This year, 5 faculty have received the Distinguished Teaching Award. They are Wiley Guh, Professor of Accounting, Wendy Barrington, Associate Professor of Child, Family, and Population Health Nursing, and Associate Professor of Epidemiology, Theodore Andrew Myrie, Teaching Professor in Law, Andrea Carroll, Associate Teaching Professor of Chemistry, and Sarah Hasnera Zaman, Clinical Assistant Professor of Pediatrics. The recipient of the Marcia L. Landolt Distinguished Graduate Mentor Award is Leanne Campbell, Professor of Pathology. Finally, 2 graduate students with teaching responsibilities have received the Excellence in Teaching Award for 2021. They are Sarah Brusha Breitenfeld, graduate instructor in classics, and Devin Geary, teaching assistant in communications. These faculty inspire students to discover their passion for learning, create opportunities for them to make a real difference, and change the way students see the world. I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of our faculty and teaching assistants for putting their students first during these unprecedented times. They have adjusted the way in which they teach to ensure that UW students and the graduates we are honoring today receive the best possible education. To the graduates, I would say that you have learned from the best, and now I can't wait to see how you will change the world.
Since 1932, the university has presented medals to the graduating seniors with the most distinguished academic records at the university. One medal is awarded to a student who has completed at least 3/4 of his or her degree requirements at the university, and one is awarded to a student who entered the university with at least 60 transfer credits from a Washington community college. This year's President's medalists are Isaac Manzigu of Shoreline, Washington, and Elizabeth Ann Yuki Lee of Woodinwell, Washington, who entered the UW from Everett Community College. Isaac got an early start on his university career. As a second grader, he sat next to his dad in Suzzallo Library and pretended to study just like him. When he entered the University of Washington, Isaac knew he wanted to study about the environment and have a positive impact on the world. Here, he found the perfect interdisciplinary approach, combining his degree work with studies in political science and environmental policy. He was a 4-year member of the ASUW Senate, a co-organizer of the College of the Environment Community Equity Initiative, and a member of the National Park Conservation Associate Northwest Student Leadership Council. Isaac is graduating summa cum laude with a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science and Resource Management. Congratulations, Isaac. And now, Elizabeth. When Elizabeth came to the University of Washington, she already had a broad background in marine science, having studied under UW faculty through Everett Community College's Ocean Research College Academy. Pursuing her studies in the program on the environment, she participated in data collection aboard the UW's research vessel Rachel Carlson, interned with the National Marine Fisheries Service, and volunteered her time to assist the Ship Operations Cooperative Program, a nonprofit organization of maritime industry leaders. She is graduating summa cum laude with a Bachelor's of Art degree in Environmental Studies. Please join me in recognizing our 2 extraordinary President's medalists. I would also like to recognize those students who are graduating today with the university's highest baccalaureate honors: summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude. The name of the honorees are listed in the commencement program. Since 1938, the university and the Alumni Association have presented an award to a former University of Washington student whose work has attained national or international prominence. The Alumna Summa Laude Dignatus Award, which means alumni worthy of the highest praise, is the highest honor bestowed by the university on one of its graduates. Today, we add to the long and distinguished list of individuals who have received this award the name of Larry Gossett, a member of the King County Council for 27 years, and a man who has devoted his life to public service and the cause of racial equity and justice. Mr. Gossett's efforts on behalf of the underrepresented and underprivileged began when he spent a year in Harlem with Volunteers in Service to America as an undergraduate. He founded the University of Washington's Black Student Union and helped organize nearly a dozen high school, middle school, and collegiate Black student unions throughout the Seattle area. Mr. Gossett worked to establish a Black Studies program on campus, and he was the very first UW student to graduate with a degree in African American Studies. As a councilman, Mr. Gossett dedicated his time to the reformation of the criminal justice system, better public transportation, and job opportunities for the poor and underrepresented minorities. In 1999, he led the effort to honor civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by naming King County after Dr. King and changing the county logo to his image. As a community activist, he traveled to Japan, Canada, Russia, and Nicaragua. He represented the King County Council on various trade missions to many countries in Asia and South America, as well as to South Africa and England. For his distinguished career as a public servant and all he has contributed to our city and its residents and the cause of social justice, his alma mater, with great pride and admiration, honors Larry Gossett with its 2021 Alumnus Summa Laude Dignatus. Student government is an important component of the governance of this institution, and its leadership is called on regularly to represent student views on a wide range of issues at the university. I am pleased to introduce to you now the President of the Graduate and Professional Student Senate, Aaron Yared, and the President of the Associated Students of the University of Washington, Camille Hatwig.
Hello, Huskies. First, let me address the obvious. This year was brutal. Pretending like it was a picnic would only be an insult to your achievement today. From nonstop political tension to figuring out whether investing in Dogecoin is a good idea, it's a wonder there was any time to keep up with classes. I'm sure many of you, like me, came into this year thinking that you were going to be able to build off of the momentum of last year, with that spring quarter online being a speed bump far behind us, only to find yourself stopped in your tracks with no end in sight. At the Graduate and Professional Student Senate, we realized that we were going to have to switch gears pretty quickly if we wanted to continue helping students at the levels that we did when we were in person. That was when we landed on a theme that I'm sure you've already heard many times this year: resilience. While you may be sick of hearing it, there really is no other way to describe how you all responded to the challenges of this year. Resilience is taking 100% of your classes online from dozens of time zones around the world. Resilience is working tirelessly to teach undergrads virtually, making sure every student receives the best education we can provide. Resilience is helping each other through Wi-Fi outages, through quarantine, through Zoom fatigue, through masks, through double masks, through your cat walking across your keyboard, unmuting you at the exact moment you burped, and now, even through vaccination naps. You are here, and you are 1,000 times more resilient than anyone might have thought we would need to be for our education. As the brilliant Maya Angelou once said, if you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. It has been my honor to be your graduate and professional student body president this year, because it has been anything but normal. And in celebrating an achievement like graduating after enduring the highs and lows of a pandemic, there is no question in my mind. You are amazing. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Hello and congratulations to the class of 2021. My name is Camille Hatwig, and it's an honor to be speaking with y'all as this year's student body president. I want to start by admitting that this was a difficult speech to write. The mood in the air for many is not one of celebration. I want to commend you all for the strength that it took to get here. This past year and a half has not been simple or easy. I don't know any student who isn't grieving right now. Grieving the loss of a loved one, grieving the loss of the college experience that we wanted, grieving the loss of community, grieving for the pain we are all feeling in the world. It takes a unique level of strength, commitment to self, and commitment to bettering the world to make it here to graduation during such incredible circumstances. It's impossible not to feel and acknowledge the pain in this moment. But it's also impossible not to feel the love, hope, and connection. We are leaving our Husky experience as different and better people than we entered, and that's because of each other. I vividly remember every moment when my community showed up for me over the past 4 years, in ways big and small, often in my hardest moments, and how those moments made me who I am today. I remember freshman year when my RA held my hand in one of the dorm lounges as I found out I didn't get into my first major, as I'm sure many of you can relate. Or a few months later when I was crying and laughing with my friends in chemistry after we had all failed the same exam. Or even simply in moments like getting invited to my first college improv show by the first friend I made in ASUW. This same commitment to community was palpable when our student body showed up last summer to support the Black Student Union's protests on campus and the continued student-led fights for racial justice and equity at UW. And that's what we're here to celebrate. We are here to celebrate each other, the love we have for each other, the love for our community, and our commitment to a better world. It hasn't been an easy path, but it's been a path filled with resilience, growth, strength, love, and most importantly, each other. Congratulations to the class of 2021. I can't wait to see what we create together.
We are honored to have as our commencement speaker today an alumna of this university whose career over nearly half a century has made her one of the most respected and influential environmental scientists in the world. As the recently appointed Deputy Director for Climate and Environment in the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, Jane Lubachenko is now leading our nation's efforts to address issues surrounding climate change, sustainability, and scientific integrity. Dr. Lubachenko is the former ambassador of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere. In 2014, she was appointed the U.S. Department of State's first science envoy for the ocean, where it was her mission to create sustainable solutions to improve ocean health for the benefit of human communities around the globe. Dr. Lubachenko has been a prominent leader in the scientific community, serving as president of the American Association for the Advancement of Science and the International Council for Science, and as member of the Executive Committee of the National Academy of Sciences. Throughout her career, she has worked to improve communication between scientists, policymakers, and the general public. Dr. Lubachenko received her master's degree in zoology from the University of Washington and continued her graduate studies at Harvard, where she earned a PhD in marine ecology. She is recipient of numerous international awards and honors for her global efforts to protect the planetary environment. She's received 24 honorary doctorates, and in 2011, she was awarded the University of Washington's highest honor, the Alumna Summa Laude Dignata. Please join me in welcoming an extraordinary scientist and a dedicated public servant, Dr. Jane Lubachenko.
Thank you, President Kause, and congratulations, class of 2021. I'm so honored to celebrate this singular milestone with you. You who persevered despite unprecedented challenges. How very proud you, your families, and friends must be. I'm delighted to welcome you into the community of Husky alumni. In the time since I earned my master's degree in zoology from the College of Arts and Sciences in 1971, I've come to appreciate deeply the importance of dealing with surprises. Each of you has had to do exactly that in this last 16 months. An unprecedented pandemic surprised almost everyone and tested our mettle. COVID made us realize how important family and friends are, and how important nature is to our mental and physical health. Now we treasure them more than ever. COVID made us realize the importance of healthcare workers and essential service workers, and it exposed stark racial and economic injustice and inequities in our communities. We must now work to rectify those problems. I have no doubt that each of you was challenged by COVID in your own way. But the fact that you are here today says that you figured out a way to be resilient, to adapt to changing circumstances, to persevere despite the challenges, and to chart a different course to reach your goal. Hooray for you, and hooray for the faculty, staff, and friends and family who helped make it possible. This ability to be resilient is one of the smartest things that you can cultivate. You've already begun. Our world, every bit of it, is characterized by change. Some change is inevitable. Other changes can be slowed or halted completely. Regardless, cultivating a mindset that expects change, that is prepared for change, will help you respond effectively. Resilience is the watchword, not only for individuals, but for communities and institutions. The best preparation is to embrace the possibility of change and then act decisively to minimize or prevent changes that can be altered, or act decisively to enhance resilience to those changes that are inevitable. Scientists can help sort out which is which. Here's an example from the ocean. I began studying marine biology because I was drawn to the mystery and the majesty of the ocean. I was and am passionately curious about how this vast network of ecosystems, which covers 2/3 of our planet, actually works. I loved the rigor of science and the challenge of solving mysteries, but also the opportunity to do something useful. The ocean, too, is changing dramatically. For most of human history, people believed that the ocean was so vast and so bountiful that humans didn't have the capacity to disrupt or deplete it. The conventional wisdom was that the ocean was too big to fail. I don't have to tell you how wrong that was. Now we deeply recognize the threats to our ocean: climate change, pollution, plastic waste, overfishing. We have overwhelming evidence that these problems are serious and they affect people everywhere, in coastal areas and far inland. However, awareness of the changes and the magnitude and sheer number of disasters has led to a new problem: paralysis and despair. Many people think that the ocean problems are just too overwhelming, too complicated to fix. And so a second narrative for the ocean has arisen. The ocean is simply too big to fix. That narrative is wrong. Its situation is not hopeless. I've witnessed how resilient ocean ecosystems and ocean people can be if given a chance and if we act soon enough. For example, depleted fisheries can recover if fishermen and fisherwomen work with scientists and managers to put in place the right incentives and management structure. Depleted and disrupted ecosystems can be transformed into lush, diverse, and vibrant ones following creation of a marine protected area that is fully protected from extractive and destructive activities. Around the world, we have example after example of local people, activists, business and government leaders, scientists rolling up their sleeves in training local knowledge and science and finding solutions that work. Now, these successes are not yet at the scale or pace of change that is needed, but they provide models and hope. Moreover, the world is just beginning to realize how very central a healthy ocean is to fixing big problems like climate change and food security. For example, ocean-based activities could provide as much as 1/5 of the carbon emission reductions we need to get us to the 1.5 degree target by 2050. Well-managed fisheries and aquaculture could produce up to 6 times more healthy, sustainable seafood by 2050. contributing significantly to global food security. In short, new science, new opportunities, and new hope. As a result, we are witnessing a new revolution in attitudes toward the ocean and actions to enhance its resilience and our resilience. So the ocean narrative is evolving. The ocean is not too big to fail, nor is it too big to fix, but it is too central and too big to ignore. Make no mistake, people need nature. We need healthy ecosystems. They are our life support systems. Our resilience depends on their resilience, and our resilience depends on your resilience. You have firsthand experience with resilience. After more than a year of the pandemic, you've shown grit, determination, creativity, and passion just to be here today. In many ways, you may be better prepared than any class in history to enter a world that is more dynamic and fluid than ever before. You've had a front row seat to the challenges that are facing society today. So at a moment when we confront many of the most daunting challenges in history, you are well prepared. You enter a world in which we need you. Your knowledge, your skills, your attitudes, and your resilience position you well. And it fills me with joy to consider what your generation will do to these efforts already underway. And know this, you are not alone. The world you are entering is full of people working together to make a difference. We need and want your ideas, your voices, and your contributions. Together is the only way forward, and none of us can afford to sit this one out. Whatever you choose to do with your time, talent, and energy, I urge you to find a way to contribute to a better world. Service can take many forms, to your family and friends, to your community, state, country, the world. They all matter, and they're all connected. In just a few decades, I've seen how quickly our understanding of the world can change. I've seen how breakthrough innovations or community action can transform despair into hope. You are our agents of hope, and we need you, all of you, at the table for the work ahead. I wish you all a wonderful celebration for your outstanding achievements, and I can't wait to see what an impact you will make on the world. Congratulations, graduates. Be boundless, be resilient, and be you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to present the various degrees to all candidates. Candidates will be presented by the deans of the university's 16 schools and colleges and witnessed by the various faculties. Degrees will be conferred by the chair of the Board of Regents, Rogelio Riojas. Candidates for doctoral degrees will be presented by the several deans. For the School of Medicine, Vice Dean John T. Slattery.
It is an honor to recommend the 262 candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. Faculty of the School of Medicine, do you concur?
Absolutely. Yay!
Congratulations, graduates. We wish you the best. Thank you. Those participating in today's ceremony will please stand with the other doctoral candidates when requested.
Dean Gary Chiodo, School of Dentistry.
It is my pleasure to present the candidates for Doctor of Dental Surgery. Faculty of the School of Dentistry, do you concur?
We enthusiastically concur.
Congratulations, graduates. For more than a year, you have faced unprecedented challenges and responded magnificently. I could not be more proud of you. Those participating in today's ceremony will please stand with the other doctoral candidates when requested.
Tony Remby Dean Mario L. Barnes, School of Law.
On behalf of the faculty of the School of Law, I have the honor of presenting 171 candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor. Faculty of the School of Law, do you concur?
We concur. Congratulations.
Yahoo! Congratulations, graduates. We are incredibly proud of the dedication and resolve you exhibited in arriving at this moment. You are truly a class like no other. Those participating in today's ceremony will please stand with the other doctoral candidates when requested.
Dean Sean Sullivan, School of Pharmacy.
On behalf of the faculty of the School of Pharmacy, it is my honor to present the 106 candidates for the degree Doctor of Pharmacy. Faculty of the School of Pharmacy, do you concur?
We concur.
Congratulations. You did it. Congratulations, graduates. And congratulations to all health sciences graduates for helping vaccinate our community. Thank you.
Associate Dean Kemma Cargill of the Graduate School.
Joining us today are candidates who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Education, Musical Arts, Physical Therapy, Audiology, and Nursing Practice. On behalf of the deans of the schools and colleges and the graduate faculty, I am pleased and honored to recommend these candidates for the highest degrees awarded by the university. Graduate faculty, do you concur?
Yes, we do.
Will all the doctoral degree candidates from all schools and colleges please rise?
Woohoo! Congratulations, grads! Say woohoo!
It is my distinct pleasure to present you, Regent Riojas, all of the doctoral degree candidates from the schools and colleges just presented.
On behalf of the Board of Regents and the faculties of the respective schools, I am pleased to confer upon these candidates their respective doctoral degree. Congratulations. You have achieved high academic distinction, and this university salutes you. The names and degrees of this year's outstanding doctoral candidates can be found in the commencement program, which is linked on your screen.
Candidates for master's degrees will be presented by Associate Dean David Layton of the Evans School of Public Policy and Governance and Associate Dean Cargill of the Graduate School.
On behalf of the Evans School of Public Policy and Governance, I am honored to present these candidates to receive their respective master's degrees. Faculty of the Evans School, do you concur?
We proudly concur.
Yay!
Excited.
Congratulations, graduates. We are so very proud of you. Those participating in today's ceremony will please stand with the other master's candidates when requested.
Candidates for the various master's degrees for all schools and colleges will please rise.
Yay! Hurry up, doctors! You're graduating!
On behalf of the deans of the schools and colleges and the graduate faculty, I'm honored to present these candidates to receive their respective master's degrees. Graduate faculty, do you concur?
Yes, we do.
It is my distinct honor to present you, Regent Riojas, all of the master's degree candidates
from the various schools and colleges.
On behalf of the Board of Regents and the graduate faculty, I am pleased to confer upon each of you your master's degree. Congratulations. The name of this year's outstanding master's degree candidates can be found in the commencement program, which is linked on your screen.
Candidates for bachelor's degrees in the various colleges and schools of the university will be presented by the several deans. The candidates who have been accepted by the general faculty of the university for their respective degrees are listed in the commencement program. Presenting bachelor's candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences is Dean Robert Stacy. President Kause, I believe you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Janes. Dean Stacy and I have been colleagues for well over 30 years. In fact, we were at graduate school together, although we didn't know each other at the time. He will be leaving us this year, and I can tell you, his warmth and wisdom and steady hand when confronting the complex challenges this university has faced will be missed dearly. Dr. Stacy joins us from Yale University as a history professor, and he's been making history here ever since. He chaired the history department for many years, served as a divisional dean for over a decade, and became dean of the College of Arts and Sciences in 2013. He inspired teaching and unwavering dedication to the foundational importance of a liberal arts education, and this has served this university, countless graduates, and our entire region in ways that I know we will look upon with growing admiration over many, many years to come. Dean Stacy leaves our largest college in the best shape it's ever been in, and well positioned for the future. No one has served with greater distinction. Please join me in expressing our appreciation to Dean Stacy for his extraordinary contributions to making this a better university. Dean Stacy?
President Kause, thank you for a completely unexpected honor. Candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences will please rise.
¡Felicitaciones, Dimitri! ¡Desde México!
Graduation 2021. Woo!
We did it.
Woo! Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!
It is my honor to present these candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Design, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science, and to recommend that they be awarded their respective degrees. Faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences, do you concur?
Yes, indeed.
Congratulations, graduates. You are magnificent.
Dean Mia Tuan, College of Education.
Will candidates from the College of Education please rise?
Congratulations, class of 2021. We did it. Yay!
I am proud to present these candidates for Bachelor of Arts degrees in Early Childhood and Family Studies and Education, Community, and Organizations, and to recommend that they be awarded their degrees. Faculty of the College of Education, do you concur?
We concur.
Well done.
Congratulations, graduates. Your faculty are very proud of you.
Dean Nancy Albritton, College of Engineering.
Candidates from the College of Engineering, please rise.
Let's go, Huskies. Yay!
I am most pleased to present these candidates of the College of Engineering for the degrees of Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical and Astronautical Engineering, Bioengineering, Chemical Engineering, Civil and Environmental Engineering, Computer Engineering, Computer Science, Electrical Engineering, Human-Centered Design and Engineering, Industrial and Systems Engineering, Materials Science and Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering, and to recommend that they be awarded their respective degrees. Faculty of the College of Engineering, do you concur?
Engineering concurs.
Congratulations, graduates. We wish you the very best.
Associate Dean Bruce Nelson, College of the Environment.
Candidates from the College of the Environment, will you please rise? It is my honor and my pleasure to present these candidates of the College of the Environment for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Forest Resources, and Bachelor of Science in Aquatic and Fishery Sciences, and to recommend that they be awarded their respective degrees. Faculty of the College of the Environment, do you concur?
We concur.
Congratulations, graduates. We look forward to seeing the amazing things you're going to accomplish.
Dean Anind Day of the Information School.
Candidates from the Information School will please rise. It gives me great pleasure to present the candidates of the Information School for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Informatics and to recommend that they be awarded their bachelor's degrees. Faculty of the Information School, do you concur?
Enthusiastically, yes.
Yeah. Congratulations, graduates. I wish you the brightest futures, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish.
Dean Frank Hodge, Michael G. Foster School of Business.
Candidates from the Michael G. Foster School of Business, please rise.
We're done! Foster 2021! I'm so happy, guys. Love you all. Yay! Woo! Go Dogs!
Let's go.
Woo! Foster! 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 Foster!
It is my honor and privilege to present these candidates for bachelor's degrees in the Foster School of Business and recommend that they be awarded their respective degrees. Faculty of the Foster School of Business, do you concur?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Congratulations.
Great job, everybody. Good luck.
Congratulations, graduates. Well done.
Dean Azida Imami, School of Nursing.
From the #1 public school of nursing in nation, will you please rise?
We did it, guys.
It's my pleasure and honor to present these candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing and recommend that they be awarded their bachelor's degrees. Faculty of the School of Nursing, do you concur?
Congratulations, nurses.
Congratulations, graduates. We are so proud of you.
Vice Dean John Slattery, School of Medicine.
Will the bachelor candidates from the School of Medicine please rise? It's a privilege to present these bachelor candidates from the School of Medicine in the specialized fields of medical technology, prosthetics and orthotics, and physician's assistants, and to recommend that they be awarded their respective bachelor's degrees. Faculty in the School of Medicine, do you concur?
Absolutely. Yay!
Congratulations to all of those graduating. We wish you the best. Thank you.
Associate Dean Vikram Prakash, College of Built Environments.
Will the candidates from the College of Built Environments please rise? It is my honor to present these candidates for bachelor's degrees in architecture, landscape architecture, construction management, and community and environmental planning, and to recommend that they be awarded the respective bachelor's degrees. Faculty of the College of Built Environments, do you concur?
We concur.
Congratulations, graduates. The College of Built Environments could not be prouder.
Associate Dean Tessa Evans Campbell, School of Social Work.
Candidates from the School of Social Work, please rise. On behalf of the social work faculty, it is my great honor and privilege to present these candidates for their bachelor's degrees in social welfare and to recommend that they be awarded their respective bachelor's degrees. Faculty of the School of Social Work, do you concur?
Joyfully, yes. Woo-hoo!
Congratulations, graduates. We are so proud of you.
Dean Hillary Godwin, School of Public Health.
The candidates from the School of Public Health will please rise.
Woo! Go Huskies! Woo! Woo!
It is with much pleasure that I present these candidates for bachelor's degrees in the School of Public Health and recommend that they be awarded their respective degrees. Faculty of the School of Public Health, do you concur?
Yes. Public health.
Congratulations, graduates. We couldn't be prouder of everything that you've done to contribute to our communities during the pandemic, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do.
Will all bachelor's degree candidates please rise?
It is my distinct honor to present to you, Regent Riojas, all of the bachelor's degree candidates from the various schools and colleges.
On behalf of the Board of Regents and the faculty of the university, I am pleased to confer upon each of you your respective bachelor's degree. You may now turn your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all our graduates. All of today's participants will receive a copy of the class photo that you just saw on your screen. In addition, a memento of this day will be mailed to you soon as a lasting record of our ceremony. The School of Music Choir will now lead us in the singing of Rise Up with Pride for Washington. The words to the song are printed on the inside of the back cover of the commencement program. The audience will please rise.
Rise up with pride for Washington, for purple and for gold, from far and wide they meet his town, as huskies proud and bold. Oh, Washington, we hail to thee, honor, truth, integrity, forever shine from lake to shore, your light upon us we will proclaim our loyalty in song throughout the land. Oh, Washington, we hail to thee, honor, truth, integrity, forever shine from lake to shore, your light upon us evermore.
Congratulations once again to all of today's graduates. We truly appreciate your taking the time to join us for these commencement exercises. We send you all of our very best wishes for your health and safety and that of your family and friends, with high hopes for brighter and better days for us all. Now, stay tuned until the end of the recessional for a surprise appearance by everybody's favorite husky. The 146th commencement exercises of the University of Washington are now closed.